Hey, what's up? It's Chad Altman. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to imagine a life where your kids grow up and they don't go through the same things that you have went through when you were a child. Or better yet, I want you to imagine a life where you divert all the generational stuff that was passed down to you and you don't give it to your children. Well, I'm here to tell you today that that is possible. And I'm going to show you specifically some ways that you can do that. And the first thing is, this is Claire.
Hi.
And so Claire is actually the daughter of my girlfriend. And I have the awesome opportunity to spend a lot of time with her. And through my spending time with her, and also my own children, I have learned that it's really important to communicate. Because as a grown adults, we're not the only ones that have to deal with life. You see, our kids aren't in some kind of bubble and they're not protected every single day from day-to-day stresses and things that show up. And also, it's our jobs as parents to make sure that we show up in their life in such a powerful way that we don't end up giving them the same stuff that came to us from our parents. Claire specifically is really an awesome example because Claire has learned at an early age that she has anxiety. Isn't that right, Claire?
Yeah.
So what are some ways that you have learned to deal with your anxiety?
Well, some of my ways to deal with my anxiety is to hug my mom
To hug your mom?
whenever I feel stressed, and also I have a kitten to help me
A kitten?
to just like pet it and stroke it whenever I'm down and need some loving from not just my mom, but from some animals that I know love me as much as my mom does.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That's an excellent example. So a lot of the times when we are stuck in our own cycle of anxiety, a really powerful thing that we can do is one, to find comfort, right? And so the easiest way for us to self-soothe if we can't get ourselves out of that moment is to go directly sideways or to somebody close to us. And she gave us an excellent example of how that's possible, because you might be watching that video and you'd be like, I don't have my mom next to me to do that. Or you might be watching this video too and saying, I don't have a partner. I don't have my best friend. I don't have all these people. I'm all alone, Chad. Well, I get that. But Claire gave us an excellent example of something that you could do. You see, Claire, she has a kitten for herself. And when she has stressful moments, she turns that energy of stress and she doesn't sit with it alone. You know, even at an early age of being taught, right? And this was taught to her and then she also learned it. But look, the valuable lesson that she knows is she knows that she can't hold that anxiety inside of her, right? Sitting with anxiety can be so extremely debilitating that we can't function. Like when we get caught in those flat spins of being up here and worrying so much, like it's extremely harmful and we can't seem to get out of the rut. But if we project it outward and we share that burden with something else, like it can be taken away. What are some stuff like maybe that you face on a daily basis in school that kind of like might add to things that you have a hard time with on a daily basis?
Oh, on a daily basis, sometimes I have a hard thing with is like, for example, today I brought some of my markers out to recess, and a boy saw writing on our playset and assumed it was me.
See, and so perfect example is she just said like, hey, like I brought my markers out at recess, some kid saw some drawing on something else and he assumed it was mine. And so being in a position where you have pressures from outside, especially like, it would be like getting caught up in something at work or, but it's super important. Like what I'm doing right now is I'm establishing a dialogue to ask her about her day, right? Communicating with your kids and learning every single thing that they have to deal with on a daily basis, normal day-to-day stress, is an easy way to set up a constant communication, a constant dialogue. You know, allowing our kids to come to us about every small thing makes it really easy for them to come to us when they're dealing with something hard. And carrying the load and carrying the burden and increasing emotional awareness for your children allows them to talk about their feelings easier as they become adults. Now, I know this is a big one, right? This is a big one for anybody in school. grades, right? And I know that since we have talked about this previously, and you have told me a big stress for you is her grades. And so just so you guys are aware, Claire is 9 years old, and Claire stresses about grades a lot. And tell us about how that makes you feel and some of the ways that you stress about that.
Some of the ways that I stress about it is where I don't want my family to feel down or see where I can't really focus on a certain subject.
You hear that? Her first thing that she said, like the first emotion that she tied to her stress with grades is she didn't want to let people down. Like, and I think that as adults, we understand that feeling, right? We really understand what it feels like to like truly be carrying the weight of not wanting to let somebody down. But at 9 years old, Claire already feels that pressure of not wanting to let her family down, not wanting to let her mom down, wanting to let her dad down, not wanting to let me down. But the beautiful thing about that is we can communicate, and Claire, I know, is sure and aware because we've communicated this, is like, Claire knows that no matter what happens, she's going to be loved. And Claire knows that no matter what mistakes she makes, no matter if she gets honor roll, no matter what happens in her life, she is loved and she's cared for and she's nurtured consistently and always. Knowing that you have a loving family dynamic to come back to despite of the way you perform is always going to create an environment for emotional well-being and emotional healing. Isn't that right? So just wanted to do a video to tell you that these are certain things. Opening a conversation and a dialogue with your children so they feel completely open to talk to you about anything and everything, and making sure that you're realizing, for example, if you grew up in a family where they were really hard on you to make sure that you did so well in school, if they were constantly on your back to make sure that you did everything perfectly, you know what? You might carry that with you as an adult now. You might have a really hard time not being perfect. You might have this level of perfectionism in your life where everything has to be a certain way all the time. See, and then the bad thing about that though is if you're that way now, you're showing that to your kids. And then by showing it to your kids,
they're going to show it to their kids.
Exactly. And so the beauty is we get to break generational curses. We get to have self-awareness. We get to take a look at ourselves and our behavioral patterns, and we get to not give that to our kids.
Why, thank you.
And then we get to have awesome opportunities to have great conversations like this and help get rid of some of their stress so that they can grow up being super amazing, emotional, intelligent human beings, not carrying the burdens to their children.
Like before I started making this video, I was wondering if I would do something wrong or do it on accident. But then I realized once I do it, we're talking about anxiety, people. You have to act however you feel like you're acting if you're making a video about feelings.
Exactly. So be yourself. Do us a favor. If you love this video and more content,
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe for future content in the future. We love you guys so much. Stay blessed, and we'll talk to you
And
soon.
make sure you say in the comments, kids roll.
Take care.
Bye.